Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to part 2 of our two-part tutorial on using alpha maps with cycles. So, now that we've finished everything up in GIMP, what we're going to do now is we're going to import it into Blender and show you guys how to set up the transparency nodes. So, first I'm going to save both of these different texture maps. So I'm going to save this one first. I'm going to save it as a the JPEG. I think I'll go with JPG. Make sure this is not in my app data, but in my pictures. And we should probably rename this as well. It's important to, just keep a name so you know what it is. Leaf text 01. So we'll go ahead and save that there. Export and save. And then I'm going to enable this one. This is our second alpha map, which we'll use, and we'll show you the difference between the two. And this one will actually be called leaf text 02. So now that we've got that saved, export and save. And since I didn't download this image, I'm also going to save the screen one really quickly. So save as, leave text, and then this one's going to be called org for original. So save that. All right, so now we can close out of GIMP because we're completely done. And we can close out of this image as well. So now we're going to open up Blender. There we go. And we're going to start a new file. We're going to switch over to Cycles Renderer here. And we're going to set up just a plane because that's all you need for this. So we set up that plane. And then we'll probably scale the X out a bit like that. Like that should be good. And maybe scale the Y a little bit as well, right there. And then we're going to go over to, actually we're going to go over to materials first. We're going to add a new material. We're going to change this all the way up. I just like to do that. It's a habit of mine. I should set it by default, but I just haven't. You don't have to do that. It's because we're going to get into nodes in a minute. Then we're going to go tab in here. We're going to press U and then unwrap. And then it says the object has not uniform scale to match. UV will unwrap on a non-solid version of the mesh. That's completely fine. Now if we go into UV here, we're going to click Open Image, and we're going to go to our Pictures folder. Yes, Pictures folder. I'm sorry, just can't. It's not saved in my bookmarks because I haven't bothered to do that yet. Like I said, really lazy. But anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and import the leaf text org, leaf text original in here. And so now we have it here, and you can see it's been put onto the mesh. And so if we go back into the 3D view and we look at not material, but texture, nope. Oh, that's right. In Cycles, it doesn't display textures unless we have it set. So now that we have that on UV unwrapped and we know it's all working, we're going to go over to the node editor and make sure you're in material setting here. And we're going to go ahead and delete this diffuse because we won't need the, actually, yeah, we'll keep the diffuse right now. My bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and input, and then we're going to put in texture coordinate right here. And just leave that over there for a moment. We're going to type shader, and we're also going to put a transparent as well. We're going to put that down here. We're going to get another shader and do a mix shader. Put that between these two and connect this up so that both of the diffuse and the transparent are connected to the mix shader. And we're kind of doing a backwards construction of this. Next, we're going to go texture, image texture, and then we're going to just choose our leaf text original. We're going to connect the vector to UV and the color to color. We could connect it to roughness as well, but we won't really worry about that for right now. And this is just a basic leaf setup. The actual material, I might use a glossy to do a little bit of a wet leaf, but we're not going to look at that at the moment. So now that I have this, we're probably wondering, oh, well, what do we do next? Well, it's quite simple. You first make sure your transparency is all the way turned up white, because transparency with the total white value means it's completely transparent. A transparent with the total black value means it's completely opaque, so you will be able to see it 100%. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add another image texture. We're going to open this time. We're going to go back to the pictures, and we're going to select leaf text 01 first, just to show you what that one looks like. We're also going to duplicate this, and I'm going to show you, and you don't have, this part you won't have to set up. This is just me going to show you how to compare the two leaf textures. So then we're going to set this one up. That's the leaf text 02. So we're going to connect UV to leaf text 01 here. And then under the color, we're actually going to drag it over to mix shader right here where the FAC is, or the factor. So now basically what this is doing is the color is influencing the diffuse. So the diffuse will have the green leaf on the black background. Transparent is being completely transparent. And these two are being mixed by this image, which says that, it has certain transparency values based on the colors. So now if we go over into 3D view, and let me just really quickly change my sampling to just unlimited in the preview. And we're going to go into rendered view. Oh, actually we need to also set up a node really quickly, or not a node, a lamp. Silly me. Control Z, nope, not Control Z. I'm just having a rough day today. And then ambient occlusion as well. So now you can see here that the image is it's like this, but it's still black. And the reason for that is that I forgot to actually switch these around, I think. Did I? Yeah, I think I did. I think I may have done something wrong here. Let's see. And this is, part of Cycles always is debugging your textures and make sure they're working correctly. Yep, there we go. I just had switched them around in the wrong order. But now you can see that our leaf is here and is transparent and it looks very good. But the one thing you can't see here, and let me go back into solid view to show you this. I think this is the transparency gray one, so with their luminosity values. So we should be able to see this cube somewhat through the and yeah, like I said, you can see the cube through the actual through the leaf, which this is probably a bit too much transparency for it. So in GIMP, we could go back in and lighten the values so that it's only a slight bit transparent. We can also turn down the transparency, although turning down the transparency will also bring back that black. So that's the one way to do the leaf. The other way is also to do it like this. We go back into the node editor. We're going to go ahead and take this image texture out. And this is the second image texture we made. And we're going to put that color into where the factor is and the vector connected up to UV. And now if we go back into the 3D view, you'll see that this leaf is completely non-transparent, opaque here, and transparent around the edges. And there we have it. There's our leaf. And with Cycles, the benefit of that is it will render both sides in the normal. So you can just make a particle system and tile this a bunch of trees. We can actually show that now. But yeah, that's pretty much it with alpha maps. I'm not going to get into animated alpha maps because I'm pretty sure most of you all know how to do that. If you don't, I can quickly explain it here while I'm working on this. Animated alpha maps, all you would have to do is create an image sequence, and you can load this image as an image sequence instead of just a single image as an alpha map, which is pretty helpful. You can also make it a movie, like a .mov file, .mpeg file. That's really simple too, but it's whatever you want to do. It doesn't specifically matter what you want to do, but it's just how you want to do it. It depends. And then we're going to make sure this object here is this plane, and this is probably going to look very bad, but let's see. Random size, change this up, change the size of these up, and then let's go to advanced, and let's go random. So now, if we move this leaf over to layer 2 really quickly, excuse me, and we go back into rendered view, you can see we have our little leafy box, and we'll just give it a minute or two here to render. But yeah, with all those, and the really nice thing about this too is you don't actually have to use, you don't have to individually model each one of these leaves and make it, or just model one leaf with extreme detail, because that's going to take a lot more vertices, which is going to take a lot more time in your scene. Alpha maps, I believe from what I've read at least, and I had tested this a bit on my own and I would agree with it, alpha maps are quicker processed in the CPU than all the vertices would be. So it cuts down on render times as well, which is really nice. And while it doesn't give you as much detail, you could subdivide the plane some more and bend it around to make it look more, instead of 2D, 3D, which helps a lot too. But it all depends on the kind of level of detail you're going in. If this is just going to be a game, it's similar to doing that in the game engine, except, with Blender game engine instead of Cycles. But yep, you see here we have our leafy cube, but that's not rendering very fast because I have a lot of particles there. But yep, all right. That's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.